Good morning, everybody. Shefa Baruch V'Atzluchu. We are in parashat Yitro. One of the interesting things in parashat Yitro is the beginning and a story about a guy that is a Gentile. He's not a part of the Jewish nation. He's not a part of Bnei Israel. And he comes, and not only he becomes a part of Am Israel and converts himself, he also giving us, how do you say, suggestions how to Moshe Rabbeinu. He is telling him how to handle the people regarding if they have a problem when everybody is approaching him. He's telling him, you cannot do this by yourself. You have to have people that will help you. And the easy stuff they will solve, and the heavy stuff they'll come to you. Like have a normal system of judges, of adjustment system. And today we all have this argument about changing the way that it is here in Israel, the way the judges are being elected and the power they've got. And it's very interesting to look how Yitro is telling him what are the characteristics that a judge needs. And alevai, I wish that this will be the case in Eretz Israel, and those judges, and I don't care how they're going to be elected, if they will have this honesty and they will get out of their ego trip they have, then maybe it will all look in a different way. But Yitro is a guy that comes from the outside. And sometimes maybe we need somebody from the outside to tell us what's wrong with us. And nevertheless, he is also teaching us an interesting point. There are three times that people heard about what happened with Am Israel, all the miracles in Egypt, and they all reacted differently. The first one, and we say it in Shirat Hayam every day, אז נבהלו אלופי אדום, אלי מואב יחזמו רעד, נמוגו כל יושבי כנען, תיפול עליהם אימתה ופחד. All the nations around heard what happened in Egypt, and they got a fright of their life. But did they do anything about it? Sometimes you know the truth, but you still go on in your own way. You know that it's not good to smoke. It's not good to eat certain things. It's not good to do certain things, but you still do them because you want. And even though you know clearly the damages that can happen, you still do it. No? Ask yourself, look around you, and think if you always do the right thing and what is the truth, and you go always in the way of the truth, or sometimes you bend the rules. That's one way of hearing things. Hearing, get a fright, but still go on with your life like nothing happened. The second way is Amalek. Amalek, he hears what happens, he comes and fights against it. He doesn't care if it's truth or not. He fights against it because he doesn't want this to come in front of his eyes. So he's going to do whatever he can in order to cover up the truth, to kill the truth. It also sometimes happens. And there is the third way, which is the good way, the best way, and the proper way of doing things. And that's the way of Yitro. Yitro hears what happens, and he comes and he wants to be a part of the Jewish nation. He is the one who seeks the truth. He looks all around. The Midrash says that he was worshipping trying all the idol worshipping that there are in existence. And no idol satisfied him till he got to the real truth of God. He heard what happened in truth. He heard what happened to Am Israel. And the interesting thing, that what he is saying, that what made him really become one of the greatest believers in God, Ata yadati, now I know that God is the God, the greatest. That's the God. Ki badavar asher zadu alem, because what they wanted to do, bazadu, who wanted to do. So there was a meeting to find the final solution for Bnei Israel And we all know through the generations that always they try to kill us, torture us, and to find, let's say, the final solution for us, like the Nazis in יימח שמם וזכרם. Now, he had a group of 3 people, consultants. There was Bilam, Harasha, Eob, and Yitro, and Pharaoh, of course. And they were sitting and thinking what to do with the Jewish people. Bilam Harasha, of course, gave all those terrible ideas to how to destroy and how to make Am Yisrael, and maybe he was the one behind the idea of slaves. I'm not going into it, but certainly he was not a good speaker for us. He was talking badly for us. He was trying to find all the bad things he can, as we see later on when he was trying to destroy Am Yisrael with his curses that become blessings. Then there was another guy there, Eob. Eob didn't do anything. He was a tzaddik. But a tzaddik that doesn't do anything is a problem. And this is one of the explanation why he was punished severely with all what was happening to him after. He was a good guy. He was a tzaddik. He was worshipping God. But because he sat there in this committee and didn't do anything, kept silence, he was punished for it. What did Yitro do? Yitro, when he heard what's going on, he went away. He left. He said, I don't want to be a part of this thing. This is Yitro. This is why Yitro, Moshe Rabbeinu married his daughter. And from there we have this unbelievable descendants that come from Moshe Rabbeinu and from Yitro. And here in our parsha, he's showing us the truth. He doesn't care. You know, when you think about it, imagine to yourself, he was a great guy, because, you know, if he was in the committee of Pharaoh, Pharaoh was the greatest king in the whole ancient world. And all those figures, they were unbelievable, big personal. They were the high society. They were the greatest people in the area. And if Yitro was a part of this committee with Pharaoh, it meant that he was really a big shot. So imagine to yourself, just to understand what Yitro really did, leaving all his idols behind. Imagine to yourself that the Pope tomorrow is going in this big porch up there in the Vatican, and all those thousands of 50,000, 60,000, I don't know how many can get in this place over there. And he's standing there up, and with his loudspeaker he's saying, I have to tell you the truth. Our belief, our tradition, our faith is wrong. The real faith, the real religion, the real truth is the Jewish religion. What do you think is going to happen? I don't think he will survive the day. But would he dare even to do a thing like this? And if he dared, can you imagine this picture, this episode? This is Yitro. This is what Yitro is really doing. He's leaving everything behind. He is the high priest. And he leaves this and he says, I believe in God. Nevertheless, later on, he goes also to try and convert his people to become Jewish. What is the Torah trying to teach us in all this story? That first of all, we have to understand, we are the messengers of God. We are his children. And we got the job, Matan Torah. We received the Torah in this parsha. And when we received the Torah, the Midrash says that God approached all the nations and nobody wanted to take the Torah. No one wanted to take the responsibility. Am Yisrael did, and did it willingly, with love. This is why we are chosen, to lead the way. We are not alone in this world. We have a mission. And the mission is to bring the truth to all the nations. And sometimes here and there, a part of those people, they become a part of us. And not only a part, a big part. Look at Yitro. Look at Onkelos. Everywhere you go, you have Targum Onkelos, the explanation of Onkelos. Shmaya v'Avtalion, the teachers of Hillel Azaken. Ruth HaMoaviyah, Ruth, she is the mother of the king, of David HaMelech, of the Mashiach. Ruth, the Moaviyah. Unbelievable. God is showing us and telling us that everybody, if he wants to become a part of Am Yisrael, he can. And he becomes a part of us, the same as us, though we were born to it. We have the obligation, we have the duty because we were born Jewish, so we have to do the job to lead the people. But before we do this, we have to be united. So every day we have to remember 6 things, Ashkenaz. The Sephardim, I think there are 13 things. And one of those things is Zecher leMa'amad Har Sinai, to remember that we are standing in front of Har Sinai to receive the Torah. And always I thought that the meaning is to remember Matan Torah. But that's not what's written. It's written there, Zecher leMa'amad Har Sinai. This, let's say, episode that we were standing there underneath the mountain to receive the Torah. Not receiving the Torah, standing there. Why? What is so important in this to remember? So first of all, you don't have to remember every day that you receive the Torah, because you have to receive the Torah every day like you get it as new. But that's a different issue. What was happening in Matan Torah, in this stage that Am Yisrael was standing there, 2 things were happening, 2 important things. First of all, to say that God speaks with human being is something not reasonable. How can God, with his abstract, to talk with a human being, flesh and blood? Impossible. So people thought, Moshe Rabbeinu, God loves him, so he gives him whatever he asks, or that's the connection. But to speak with Moshe Rabbeinu, impossible. How can God speak with a human being? So in Ma'amad Har Sinai, they saw that God spoke with Moshe Rabbeinu. It says, Gam bechai ya'aminu, and now they will believe also in you. What does it mean, le'olam? Now they will realize that when the prophet comes, he is telling them what God told him to say. So God does communicate with people. That's the first thing. But maybe the most important thing is the unity. It's written, Vayichan Sham Yisrael. Vayichan Sham Yisrael, in singular, not a plural. So it has to say Vayachanu, in plural. Ke'ish echad belev echad. That is the big secret. They were standing there like one, united. This is our power. And when we see all the things that are happening around us, the rows, the fights, we have to understand, we have to try as hard as we can to make peace, to be united, to understand that this country is our country, is the Jewish country, the Jewish nation. And the only way to be united is under the Torah. When we understand and realize the power of the Torah that tells us who is the one who has to be a judge, what are the values that he has to work with, who is he? First of all, he has to be humble. Humbleness is the first thing to come to do the right decision and to look at the world in good eyes. When we are proud, when we are in our ego trip, we do things that we don't want to talk about them. And that's what Yitro comes from outside and tells Moshe Rabbeinu, yes, you are Moshe Rabbeinu, you are a tzaddik, you are everything, but you have to understand 2 things. You cannot do this alone. Nobody can do it alone. We are a part of a klal, we are a part of the Jewish nation. And we have to do things together. And here also, if you are the leader, you cannot be alone by yourself up there. You need help. You need reliable people, humble people. that are seeking for the justice, like Yitro from the outside is seeking and comes and becomes one of us. And he tells Moshe Rabbeinu, those are the people you have to find. And you will find them. And they will help you to control things, to do things in the right way. And this is the secret. If we want to go in the right way, if we want to get to our destination, which is Bayoma we are Shem Echad U'Shmo Echad, that all of us and also all the nations will be one under the King of all King, the Almighty God, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The way is, go in the way of the Torah, seek for justice, be humble, and be together. All the best, and I hope that we will try to change a little in our small world, and this will have the influence also on others. Have a nice day.